Today's program is brought to you by OTCStockShark.com. For the latest and greatest OTC and Pink Sheets information, sign up for your account at OTCStockShark.com. Thank you for tuning in to TBC Today. I'm Brandon Vincent.
And I'm Angelina Soriano.
In financial news, stocks edged lower as gains from rising mergers and acquisition activity failed to overcome declines in financial stocks. The Dow Jones Industrial Average shed 48 points or 0.4% to close at 10,812. The slight stumble comes after a sharp gain of nearly 200 points, which capped a 2.4% climb for the week. The benchmark has had 4 consecutive winning streaks. The S&P 500 index fell 6 points or 0.6% to close at 1,142, while the Nasdaq Composite dropped 11 points or 0.5% to finish at 2,369. In U.S. news, Southwest Airlines, the nation's largest low-fare carrier, said that it had agreed to buy its smaller rival, AirTran Airways, in a transaction valued at $1.4 billion, expanding its foothold in New York and Boston and allowing it to move into the nation's largest airport, Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson. Southwest said the purchase had been approved by the boards of both companies, although it still needs regulatory and shareholder approval. The deal is valued at $3.4 billion when AirTran's debt and aircraft leases are included. The deal would expand Southwest's network by 25% and increase its revenue by about 20%, or $2 billion. Each airline serves around 70 airports, overlapping on 19 routes. Southwest has 547 planes, while AirTran has 138. Investors welcome the deal. Southwest shares rose more than 13% to $13.75 a share. Shares of AirTran Holdings, the airline's parent company, leaped 61% to $7.37 a share to match Southwest's offer. While the transaction potentially takes out a low-fare rival from the market, it would still pose a significant challenge to the legacy carriers, especially American Airlines and U.S. Airways. By expanding Southwest's network, the deal would help keep fares low, especially in the Northeast, where major airlines are still the cat's meow. In international news, Israeli Navy commandos peacefully commandeered a catamaran sailed by an international group of Jewish activists trying to break Israel's blockage on Gaza. The 10 activists from Israel, the United States, Britain, and Germany, among them an Israeli 82-year-old Holocaust survivor, responded defiantly to the Israeli Navy when it hailed to them from a frigate demanding that they identify themselves and give their destination. The group responded from the deck of the 30-foot catamaran, "We are going to Gaza." The Israeli military said in a statement that the vessel was boarded without incident and that no violence of any kind was used by neither the passengers on board nor the Israeli naval forces. The military nicknamed the boat the Provocation Yacht. The boat's voyage from Cyprus was another attempt to thwart the blockage after an Israeli assault on a Turkish Gaza-bound aid boat on May 31st, in which Israeli commando forces opened fire, killing 9 Turkish Islamic activists on board and setting off an international dispute.
When you've got a serious leak, it's time for Leakender 2000. It fixes any leak fast, no matter what's leaking. Just spray it with Leakender 2000, and in minutes, the leak is sealed. Look, we'll cut this garden hose with a knife, then shut off the water and spray on Leakender 2000. Minutes later, the hose is as good as new. The cut is sealed. Leakender 2000 is a unique compound that fills and seals any crack or separation as it hardens. Why put up with gushing gutters, dripping drains, wet windowsills, and rain-soaked RVs? Leakender 2000 stops all those leaks, and it's yours for only $14.95. Call now and we'll double your order. We'll send you this giant-sized can at no extra charge. Order now.
To order, have your credit card ready and call toll-free 1-800-936-0300 or send check or money order for $14.95 plus $5.95 shipping to the address on your screen. Call 1-800-936-0300.
In health news, employers can expect to pay nearly 9% more for health care costs from their workers in 2011, the highest level in 5 years. According to a report from consulting group Hewitt Associates, employers will likely ask their workers to cover 12% more of these costs out of pocket. The Hewitt report blames higher costs mostly on medical claims and an aging population, but also on U.S. health care reform, which has become one of the most politically charged issues in the coming November congressional elections, as disappointed voters learn that they must wait for promised savings to come into effect. The report projects average health care costs per employee will rise to $9,821 in 2011, up from $9,028 in 2010. Employees will pay $2,209, or 22.5% of the total premium, up 12.4% from 2010. The Hewitt report said changes such as allowing adult children to stay on their parents' plans until age 26 and barring insurance companies from denying coverages to children with pre-existing conditions contributed to about 1 to 2% of the total increase. Hewitt's report projects an 8.8% average increase in health insurance premiums for employers, compared to a 6.9% rise in 2010. Healthcare premiums will have more than doubled since 2001, from $4,083. In tech news, soon, thanks to the tireless efforts of the iPhone dev team, you will be able to install apps on your Apple TV. An upcoming jailbreak tool called Shatter has already been used to unlock the new Apple TV firmware. Shatter was used to jailbreak the newest iPod Touch shortly after its launch, and thanks to the iOS roots, the Apple TV is also susceptible to its power. The hack was carried out on the firmware restore download that has just been posted by Apple. This file, which contains the entire OS of the Apple TV, is an IPSW file, the file extension for iPhone and iPad OS files. So what's inside? According to a dev team member, the new Apple TV OS seems to be a mashup of the old Apple TV OS and the iOS. This means that existing Apple TV hacks may already work. Also, all of the iOS software framework is present, which could allow hacks to enable video conferencing, for example, or even let you install the iPad Hulu app. I suspect that Apple will add apps to the Apple TV in the form of channels, just like the Netflix channel that is there already. A jailbroken Apple TV could theoretically run anything that will run on the iPhone or iPad. In green news, Northern Ireland just outlined how it hopes to get 40% of its electricity from renewable sources by 2020, and apparently, not to be outdone, First Minister of Scotland, Alex Salmond, thinks that that's not an ambitious enough target. Salmond said that Scotland should be able to produce 100% of its electricity from low-carbon sources by 2025. Prior to last week, Scotland has had a renewable energy target of 50% by 2020, but this was increased to 80%. Mr. Salmond stated that Scotland has unrivaled green energy resources, and their new national target to generate 80% of electricity needs from renewables by 2020 will be exceeded by delivering current plans for wind, wave, and tide generation. I'm confident that by 2025 we will produce at least 100% of our electricity needs from renewables alone, and together with other sources it will enable us to become a new exporter of clean, green energy. In other words, Scotland will still have some fossil fuel power plants in operation come 2025, but its renewable energy plants will be exporting power to England and Wales. However, this is the sort of action that every nation needs to take. None of this under 50% fractions of power by 2020 to 2030 and sputtering on about impact on fossil fuel producers. As the report on Northern Ireland's renewable plan said, the era of cheap energy is over. Get used to it. It's either starting an extremely rapid transition off fossil fuels now, or face higher energy costs and energy crunches in the future. Neither option is an easy option, but let's choose the one which offers an open road ahead and doesn't just end at a cliff. Currently, Scotland has just under 3 gigawatts of renewable energy capacity, the vast majority of which comes from offshore wind power.
Thank you for tuning in to TBC Today. I'm Brandon Vincent.
And I'm Angelina Soriano.